Good afternoon, everyone. This is Maria,
This is Tim.
and welcome to Friday Night Live with the Pulse. Tonight, we're going to talk about what kind of trader you are.
And Maria, there's like a million kinds of traders. Not really, probably 8 or 10, but I think it's very important for everybody to understand what kind of trader they are. Um, Me and you like to trade options. We like to trade fast. Um, some people like to slowly invest. I get asked every day, Tim, what do you think about Bank of America? And I'm like, man, I, I can't buy it. Honestly, it's not my thing. I would rather trade Nvidia because I can go catch 100% on a good options run while they're still waiting on 3%. And that 3% is good for some of those traders. They enjoy that. That's what they feel comfortable and safe there. I don't. Maybe I'm more of a risk taker, but that's just my style of trading, right? I use simple line charts. Last week we had talked about the Hopium House. And I hope everybody goes back and listens to that video because we've got a lot of compliments on that. But what kind of trader you are, it takes a little bit to figure out. We had a guy that he sent me a DM today. He goes, "Man, I didn't make any money this week." And I'm like, "Well, what happened? What happened? It was a good week." He goes, "Well, I've got a $10,000 account and it's all invested in Apple." I'm like, "Well, but you're not going to make money if you're fully invested in something, right? If you know
Exactly.
you got to have some money to trade, and that's why me and you are sort of like the 30-70, maybe 20-80, meaning 20 to 30% invested in the markets at all times. Maybe not all times, but no more than 20 to 30% of our portfolio invested while we're trading the other 70%. Um, and it kind of made me realize when that guy said that, you know, I know we all trade differently, but when I got that DM, it was just like kind of a reality check that we're not all just fast money traders. And we do have those people that like to sit back and just maybe they write, collect premium, and I don't write. So you know I think it's important for everybody to figure that out. Now, Maria, I know you get a lot of those DMs as well. So
I do. I constantly get asked, how did you make money today? The market was flat. It didn't do anything. Or people will ask me, I want to buy leaps on something. And it's very hard for me to answer a question like, yeah, go ahead and buy some leaps when I won't even look out, 2 to 3 months from now. I like to scout. That's what I excel at. That's what, or that's the type of trading that I've been successful with. So, I think that it's really important to do a couple of things. Number one is identify what kind of trader you are, right? You have to know if you're the kind of trader that wants to actively trade on a daily basis, or if you're a swing trader, maybe you want to buy something and just kind of let it sit for a couple weeks or a few days or overnight or something like that. Or are you an investor, right? Do you want to buy leaps out for the next a year or 2 or 3 years? Do you want to buy 6 months out, 10 months out? I think that that's super important.
yeah, and not everything works for everybody. Like I'm not a big leap guy. Occasionally I'll do it if I really really like something. I have done it with Nvidia, Walmart, and a few companies, but it's not something I like to. I still look at that and go, well, this is money I don't want to touch for a while. And since I like to rotate my money really fast and trade, I like to trade all day. I don't like to just sit there. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to force a trade. Not that I haven't. We all have. I don't want to force a trade, but I just want to be able, if the opportunity arises, I want to be able to jump. And I don't want to go, man, they just clocked it, they just killed Nvidia, but I was stuck in Apple all day, so I didn't get to participate. Always have some powder dry. Even in the last 30 minutes of the day, we've seen a million times opportunities come in. So you always want to have some powder dry. And another thing, always be researching. Your research shouldn't be, well, I was on StockTwits for an hour and I read the board on, I don't know, pick a stock, CLRB. I read that for an hour. That's my research for the day. That's not researching. Okay. 90% of the people that talk out there, and even I get stuff wrong sometimes, so I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but just like we talked a while back about stop losses, you know, a stock will be trading at $2, and you'll have your stop loss at $1.25. Somebody will be like, no, they're going to come down and get your stop loss at 125. Listen, that market maker's not going to spend $2 million coming to get your $1,500 a stock. Those are just myths that people should do their own research, and not just because Joe Bob 69 said, hey, uh, they're going to come get your stops. Just because Joe Bob says that and he's been trading for 6 weeks doesn't make him an expert in market makers or stops. So research constantly, watch videos, watch charting videos. It's shocking to me how many new people I see that say, well, I don't know how to chart, or I've never charted. And they haven't even watched any videos. They just started trading and thinks that you just press buy and sell. While that's a big part of it, charts are a big part of it. And you should always be researching, which Maria, you do all the time, and you send me stuff.
Constantly. I like, it's funny. Somebody said to me a long time ago when I first got into the industry, one of the very first things that somebody said to me that kind of just stuck with me, it's more than a full-time job. It's a 24/7 job. There, the saying money doesn't sleep, right? Tim, you know this. From like 6 o'clock in the morning until sometimes after midnight, I'm constantly like looking for stuff. Like I have notifications coming in. I'm subscribed to news services because I want to know um, if that headline is potentially going to move a stock the next day. So, all day long, I'm constantly looking for news. Not only that, I'm constantly learning. I've been trading for 12 years now. 8 of those I spent trading professionally, with various brokers. But even though I have industry knowledge and I've been trading, I have my own firsthand knowledge, I am constantly trying to improve my strategy. I'm constantly trying to determine, is this my style of trading still working for me? Am I losing my edge? And that's also an important question. What's your edge? For me, it's being versatile. Tim will tell you, the market can go up, it can go down, backwards, sideways, zigzag, it doesn't matter. Um, I'm going to try to find a way to trade it and hopefully trade it successfully, right? That's my edge, is being quick. I'm quick with reading my charts. I'm quick with being able to identify where I want to enter and where I want to exit. So it's a combination. It's that constant, desire to improve on my current trading. And it's that reevaluation of, is my strategy still working? And that's what's helped keep me
Which,
successful.
which you keep up with your trades in the spreadsheet, which is remarkable. You showed that to me before. It's like, here's my winners, here's my losers, here's my percentage gain on the winners, here's my percentage loss on the losers, here's why I got in that trade. I mean, the things you keep up with boggled my mind, because I don't even keep up with. I mean, I'll write them in a notebook like LW, something like that. I can kind of remember everything, but uh, you keep it in front of you at all times, and you can look back on that trade 3 months later. And you said a minute ago, trading is a full time job. It's more than that. Trading, actual traders will tell you this is a lifestyle. It's like, hey, maybe I'm a hippie. Well, that's my lifestyle, right? Trading is the same thing. That's my lifestyle. If you're a surfer, that's your lifestyle. Trading is way beyond just having a job. Trading is 24/7. It's a lonely business. That's why I'm glad I got Maria, Teresa, Vishal, Namish, Wyatt,
The
a
whole row,
million of these
yeah.
guys to keep me company, because it is kind of lonely. And we work till at least 10 o'clock every night. When the market closes, we have a minimum of 6.5 hours of work still to do, looking at tomorrow news that came out, going back over charts. Where did I screw up? So after I get done with that job, I just walk from trading to research. So the job never ends. It's a complete lifestyle. And people that don't trade, a lot of my family members, they'll tell me, oh, I just had a wreck. And literally, I'm just going, if you're alive, tell me tomorrow, because right now I'm trading. So it's just, it really will, it consumes you, but not in a bad way. and it should. If you're going to do this for a living and you want to do this and make real money, you have to do that. It doesn't stop. It's constant research. Protect your damn night, which is your account. You have to protect that. Just like you're protecting your borders or whatever it is you're protecting in life, your house, your property. Protect that account. That's your number one thing. Without the account, you're done. You're no longer a trader. You got to find a new lifestyle. So you have to protect that. Uh, Maria,
Absolutely.
when we first met, you was talking about having different accounts. You have your main account that you like to do some longer term stuff in, and you have your small account because your small account kept you sharp. And then Bassman, you had told Bassman about it, and then Bassman
Yep.
started doing a small account. Zeke is about to do a small account. Well, all of us have small accounts now, but even the guys with big accounts, because those small accounts help keep us sharp because we have to make fewer and better decisions. And I want you to tell me about that
Absolutely.
too, real quick.
Sure, absolutely. And guys, I do this still. And then Tim's right, I journal everything. I have everything on a spreadsheet. I mean, even it doesn't matter how many trades I've done that day. I might do 100 trades or 50 trades or something, whatever the number is. Everything I keep documented, at least on a spreadsheet for my own benefit, because I need to see where I'm messing up, right? We're all human. No one will ever trade 100% accurately all the time. You're going to have losing trades. What I do is if I notice that I'm all of a sudden going from, trading like I normally trade to now I'm getting more and more red trades, the very first thing I do is I reduce the number of contracts I'm going to trade. But that's hard to do when you have, cash available, right? You're like, well, yeah, I could buy two contracts, but why not buy 20? Or why not buy 50 or whatever? So I have a small account with like, it's got, maybe a couple thousand or 3,000, $4,000 in there. Um, I go into that account. I will not trade my bigger accounts. I trade in that small account because I don't have a choice but to evaluate my trading. Like I have to make my trading choices a lot better, right? I can't afford to just, you know, throw $1,000 at something or throw $500 at something. In a small account, I have to be more prudent. I have to stay diligent. I have to make sure that my trades count. And that's what I've recommended in the room when people come to me and they're like, I was doing really, really well, and all of a sudden now my trading sucks. I don't know what's wrong. I tell them to hop in their small account, jump in your small account, trade that, try to grow it, and you will see what you're doing. With me, I've noticed it's like, I might be having a really, really good month, and I'm like, oh, it's been a great month, sure. I'll go ahead and buy some suicide calls and knowing that I'll probably lose on that trade. But it's really easy to do that if you have cash available and you've had a really good month. So when I notice that I'm messing up, I jump into my small account.
Which is perfect too, because like you say, if it's a $2,000 account, and shoot, I can only if I buy $1,000 of this, that's half my balance for the day. So am I 100% sure about this? You can never be 100%, but are you extremely confident in that trade? And it will make you trade less and more confidently because you have to, uh, take care. You're protecting that night. That 2,000 is all I can trade today. I can't trade it again till tomorrow, and I hope it's more than $2,000. So you have to, um, and you have to stick to your rules at that point, which is another thing. People have these rules like, okay, if I buy something and it drops 20%, I'll get out. But then they break it and go, well, it's down only 25%. I'll get out when it goes back to 20%. Next thing you know, they're down 50%. And you've broke that rule. If your rule is 20%, you have to stick to that rule. And that's why you have them. I've got, 8 or 10 rules that I use. Maria's got several. Everybody should have a list of rules that you have in front of you at all times, wrote down of, oops, did I just do that again? I know better. Um, we have the rookie code in the room that we like to use. Even we still use it, and it's the rookie code.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
what is it I called myself today? I'm a non-professional trader. What did I say?
No, you
How did
said
that
you
go
said
again?
you said you are a non-professional professional. or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Oh no, no,
Oh,
you're a
don't try.
professional non-professional. You're a
Yeah.
professional non-professional.
Yeah. Don't try this at home. I'm a non-professional. So but still, I find myself messing up constantly, and I have to go back and evaluate and see where. And I got out of a trade way too early today that I called in the room and I said Nvidia's going to 251 when it was at 250.25. Great scalp for a Friday afternoon. Got out way too early. Started getting nervous and rethinking myself. Got out for about 50%, and it went up about 130 or 40%. Um, and still, even Friday expirations, which we say is a snake pit, be careful. I punked out myself. Still, it was a good trade, but I didn't let my winner run. And you have to let those winners run, which is another mistake people just often make is they cut their winners too soon and not their losers soon enough. And you can't do that. Obviously, if you're letting your losers outpace your winners, then you won't be doing this very long. So
So
it's
the
something
other
you're going to
thing
have to
that
evaluate.
Right. The other thing that I've noticed with at least, the last probably 6, 7 people that have come to me, not just in our room, outside of our room as well, is that I've noticed that people are too long, way too long. Tim, you touched on it at the beginning. You talked about how much cash, we should hold and not hold, and how much should be invested. And what I've found is that people were coming to me, especially as soon as this volatility started hitting us at the beginning of February, and they're saying, "Oh my God, my account's down. I just lost 30% in the last 2 hours of my account. I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do?" And they're legitimately concerned, right? That's a legitimate concern, especially if you have a larger account. So I had several of them send me their positions so that I could take a look and see what they were invested in. And what I found is that every single one of them had literally less than 1% cash available. And to me, that gives me heart palpitations because I'm like, you have 100% of, a $500,000 account in the market, completely invested for the most part. For me, that's scary. And I won't do it. Tim knows I will not do it. I like to keep cash available at all times. If it's not in the market, it's not subject to risk, right? I'm not at risk of losing that money. I only like to put in what I'm willing to risk. So,
Well, you said it best. Cash is a position, right?
yeah, I say it all the time. Guys, cash is a position. I don't care what anyone says, staying cash is actually a position. And it's okay to be cash. There's nothing wrong with staying cash. Only invest what you're willing to lose. And I've told the room this too. Before I place a trade, my risk tolerance check, what I ask myself is, am I okay losing every single penny that I'm about to put into this trade? If I place this trade and the market drops to zero, obviously it's not going to do that, but if something happens and I'm not able to get out of this position, am I okay with losing every single penny that I've put into this trade? If I'm not okay with it, I'm either trading too big, I'm risking too much, I've not looked at the chart right, and I'm not confident in the play. Then I have to take a step back and say, you know what? I either need to go in lighter or I need to look at this chart a little bit closer. And that's something that has helped people. But going back to the people that had come to me, um, part of being a trader, I said, is finding your edge and being versatile and being able to adapt to different changes. Guys, you also have to recognize, and we talked a little bit about recognizing when your own strategy isn't working for you anymore. So with these, several people that had come to me, out of let's say 7 people, 4 of them listened to me and they've recovered their account. I had a couple that were extremely long, but would not cut positions, right? And that was at the beginning of February. And granted, they've recovered a little bit by now, but a lot of those expirations were when? In February. So you have to be willing to change what you're doing. That's super important. No one's method works 100% of the time, all the time. You have to keep adapting. You have to keep changing it up. If what you're doing isn't working, be willing to change it.
Right. If
So
it's
that
working,
would be what
stick
I
with
would
it.
say. Yeah, if it's
Right.
working for
Stick
you,
with it.
great.
If it's working,
Absolutely.
stick with it. If it's not working, that's where you got to look for that change. And if being 100% or 99% invested and missing all these rips on Baba because you were fully invested in Apple, um, then you need to be less invested in Apple and have some money to trade with for when that opportunity comes.
Exactly.
And so yeah,
Absolutely. 100%.
but yeah, find what works for you, and if it doesn't work, then you definitely need to move on. I mean, like I don't use the EMAs, the anything like that. I'm just a line chart guy. That's what works for me. Um, I've looked at a lot of those other fancy charts. It doesn't work for me, so I don't do it. Right. But if I ever find that, you know what, all of a sudden what I'm doing is not working, I'm going to look to adapt, look to make some changes. And I have to recognize that. I have to say, okay, you know what, I did this for 6 months this way. I was just going short. Now I need to go long, or maybe I've been long and I didn't take any short opportunities. And I will adapt to that, absolutely. Or maybe
Same
options
with
isn't
me.
working for me this week. Yeah. I remember there was a time back in middle of last year where I told you, Maria, I just, I've lost my edge on options and I had to go trade penny stocks for about 2 or 3 weeks and come back to options. Um, and it just simply, I had to have a break from it for a minute because I totally lost my edge. Therefore, it was probably close to a month. I couldn't do anything right. So I went and traded penny stocks for a while, came back. And
It
actually, I
happens.
traded penny stocks for a couple of weeks, and then I did some shorting, uh, just regular shorting, no puts. And then I finally came back and was like, okay, I'm ready to go back to options now. And I just had to have a break.
Absolutely. And it's happened to me too. I mean, Tim, if you remember back in 2016, we were scalping, like we're scalping now. We were scalping like that, every day. And 2017, for most of the year, it was hard to scalp that way. At least for me, it was for most of the year.
Well, we didn't
It wasn't,
we
we
didn't have
didn't
the
have that volatility.
volatility that we had
Yeah,
in 2016. There was a lot less
exactly.
volatility, so we had to go to become more swing traders and a little bit more on investing. I mean, we scalped some,
Exactly.
but it wasn't like we were doing the Qs and stuff. It was just buy them and sit in them versus this year in February especially, it was long short, long short, long short, which was fine. That's what
Exactly.
we were used to doing back in 2016, so it was fun to get to do that again. 2017, it was almost just throw your money in something, sit, and you're going to do well.
Exactly.
This year, I love volatility. You love volatility because we are, the nature of us is put call, and that's fine. But that's what works for us. It doesn't work for everybody. Not saying that everybody should go try this. Remember, I'm a trained non-professional. Um,
That's what it
but
was, a trained non-professional.
trained non-professional. So you have to find what works for you. And we can adapt to pretty much any situation. It might take us a day or two, but we'll get there. Um, and like I say, never stop researching. Don't believe everything Joe Bob 69 posts, that started trading 6 weeks ago, and thinks he's Warren Buffett in the first 6 weeks. Don't listen to everything I say. Go research everything on your own. Know it, learn it, live it. Watch charting videos, watch options videos. Um,
Right.
just research. Don't stop.
Keep
If
learning.
you want to do this, keep learning. It's a lifestyle, and you should not stop. Me and Maria have 6 or 7 hours of work to do Sunday for a webinar we'll be doing for the weekly recap and week going forward. And the reason we do these isn't to because we're trying to become famous on YouTube, because we're not, but because we like to talk through this and we like to see where we mess up, and we like to talk through plays, and sometimes she'll see something I won't, and it gives us a way to bounce ideas off each other too, that we don't have to just our normal boring 9 to 5 talk. We actually have to look a little bit more in depth at some things sometimes. So we have fun doing this, just because we like to stay fresh in our heads too. So it's one of our ways of researching. So anyway,
Absolutely.
don't stop.
That learning is super important, guys. I tell Tim all the time, I really don't know shit. I keep learning. I always take a portion of my weekend, every weekend, and anytime I can during the week, which it's harder during the week, but on the weekend, I make sure I make it a point to try to learn something new, something that I'm not familiar with, or brush up on something that I'm not doing well with. And
Your
I think it helps me.
your nightly list. I've told you how many times. I'm like, Maria, stop doing that nightly list. It's taking you 2 or 3 hours. It's killing you. She said, but I'm always finding stuff I wouldn't have knew about, and I'm
It's
finding
true.
out, you told me when all these crypto things first started running, you found it because you're doing a night list. You said, hey, listen, everything that mentions crypto is going up 100%. And when you told me that, I was like, what? And then I started noticing it, and it's something you found because you were constantly going through, why did this run? Why did this one run? Oh, that had something in common. So, yeah, research.
Research, study. So, guys, our message to you tonight, um, number one, find what kind of trader you are. Ask yourself what kind of trader you are, what kind of trader you're comfortable being, and what kind of trader is going to make you success. What kind of being what kind of trader is going to make you successful in trading. The second thing is, stay flexible. Be open to new ways and ideas if your way or what you're doing isn't working. If it's working for you, great. Find a way to make it better, right? We can always do little things that surprisingly will make a larger impact than we think it will. So, keep at it, keep learning, keep researching, keep what else, Tim? Keep what? Help me out.
You got to keep going. As a trained non-professional, 20 years later, I'm still getting to trained professional, right? So I haven't made it yet. So I've got to keep that. The struggle is real. I've got to keep going. I've got
Absolutely.
to keep going. I've got to make it better, or I'm going to be a trained non-professional for the next 20 years, which is working. That's fine. I'm okay with it,
Right.
but I still can make it better. Every day I see, you know what? I messed up right there. I messed up right here. Write it down. WL. Try not to make that again. So I'm always trying to improve. Always. 20 years later, and I've been doing this for income forever. I still have ways to improve, and I still find them every day.
Absolutely. So keep improving, keep learning, keep researching. Ask yourself what kind of trader you are and what kind of trader you want to be and what kind of trader you will continue to be going forward to keep yourself in this game. Um, Ask yourself if you're too long. If you're not doing well, are you too long and it's causing you to trade like you wouldn't normally trade? So take a look at that too. So just some questions for you guys to look at or think about. It's stuff that we think about all the time. I do it constantly. I ask myself these questions all the time. I'm constantly checking myself. Tim constantly checks himself. And if it's not working, the very first thing I do is I call Tim and say, "Hey, I'm not doing something right. Help me out. What do I need to do?" Or here's what I've been doing. Here's where I think I'm going wrong. Here's where I think I should go. What do you think? Give me a second pair of eyes.
Well,
Or
we said it. We was talking about it in the room today. They said I said there's three things you got to check. I said sometimes you got to check your friends, sometimes you got to check your significant other, and the most important thing, sometimes you got to check yourself, and that's the hardest one to check, right?
yeah,
But you've
absolutely.
got to check yourself. So
Absolutely.
anyway, go watch Hopium House from last Friday. It's a classic, and it's something I'll listen to at least once a month. Anytime I feel like going back to the Hopium House and I feel like I'm trading on Hopium, I'll go listen to that video. So give that a listen to. And that's
Also,
really all
Market
I got
Myth.
today, Maria.
Yeah,
Market
also
Myth.
check out
Yes,
Market Myth.
Market Myth.
Yep, that one's a good one to watch.
Absolutely.
That's all I have for you guys tonight. If you like this video, please like it, the little thumbs up thing. Subscribe to our channel and please share this information. I hope you have a great weekend, get some rest, and we will see you all Monday.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.